Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we are strapping in for quite a ride, really. We're tackling Chapter 14, A Kiss Before Dying.
The Season 2 premiere.
Exactly. It picks up immediately after the Jubilee shooting chaos from Season 1's end. We're going deep into the script, analyzing the immediate fallout and how it sets the stage for everything that comes next.
And it does set a stage. The source material is really clear on this. Any hope of a new start for Riverdale.
Right.
Gone. Right away, it confirms the town is still fundamentally a haunted town.
So kidding. There's no easing in, is there? It just throws you and the characters straight back into the fire. Or maybe into the emergency room, more accurately.
Absolutely. And our mission today essentially is to unpack all of that. To look at how this script pivots the show. It goes from, that mix of high school drama and murder mystery we saw in Season 1 to something much darker. It feels like a full-blown psychological thriller right from the get-go.
And it starts with just pure visceral panic.
Yeah.
That opening scene.
Oh,
wow.
Archie.
Archie, yeah, driving Fred's trick. And the script makes a point of saying he doesn't even have a driver's license yet.
He's just flooring it, trying to get his dad to the hospital. Fred's in the passenger seat, bleeding. Badly.
I can almost feel the desperation. Archie shouting, Fred groaning. It's intense. It's immediate chaos.
It really is. Jughead's narration even calls it a miracle he made it without crashing, given the blood loss and Archie's state. I mean, talk about immediate immersion.
Yeah. And that frantic drive, it really captures the core theme right away, doesn't it? Trauma, survival, the absolute desperation of it all.
Exactly. And for Archie, the stakes couldn't be higher. He's potentially losing his dad, his rock. And his reaction to that trauma is really what shapes this entire episode and arguably the season.
Okay, so let's dive into that. Archie's headspace right after the shooting. Because it's complex.
It really is. On one hand, he does something incredibly heroic, right? He gets Fred into the truck, gets him to Riverdale General, he saves his life.
Which Jughead points out later. He gives him that classic comic book pep talk.
Right. The pure heart, the powerful line. It's a great callback suggesting Archie's evolving into this hero figure. First Cheryl, and now your dad.
But Archie he doesn't see it that way at all.
Not even close. And this is critical. He confesses later to Veronica and Betty that he feels ashamed. He calls himself a coward.
Because he froze during the actual shooting.
Yeah. He says he was paralyzed. He didn't tackle the guy, didn't even really move until the shooter put the gun to his head and then just left after the bell rang.
So he's fixated on those few seconds of inaction, not the life-saving action that followed.
Precisely. It's a fascinating look at trauma, isn't it? The mind locks onto the moment of perceived failure, the helplessness. That 5 seconds where he felt he let his dad down outweighs everything else he did afterward.
And that self-blame, that feeling of being a coward, it becomes this massive weight on him.
Absolutely. It fuels this need to protect, to make amends, to not be paralyzed again. It's the seed for everything Archie does next.
While Archie's dealing with that internal battle, you have the others rallying around him. Veronica, especially.
Veronica's reaction is really interesting here. The script gives her this sort of meta-awareness. She says things like, grief, bedside visuals, comforting boyfriends aren't really her thing.
Like she's commenting on her own character development.
Exactly. She literally says, that's the old Veronica talking. Old Veronica would bolt it by now. It's a conscious choice to be different.
And she sticks to it. Archie tries to push her away, tells her to go home, because he's clearly freaking out and lashing out.
But she refuses. I'm sorry, but I'm not going. I'm not going anywhere. That line, that commitment, it really cements her role for the season. She's staying. She's the supportive girlfriend, the new Veronica.
She becomes his anchor, even if he can't quite see it yet.
Yeah. Her presence is vital, even if he's too lost in his own guilt and fear to appreciate it right then.
Okay, now we need to talk about what's happening inside Fred's head while all else is going on. Those dream sequences.
Yeah.
There's something else.
They really are. Surreal, kind of terrifying. They're the script's way of showing us just how close Fred is to dying. It's not just a flesh wound. He's really on the edge.
The first one is Archie's graduation, right?
Yeah.
A future Fred desperately wants to see.
Yeah, a potent symbol. He even says, I didn't think I'd live to see this day. But then the dream turns dark.
The voice cuts in.
That chilling voice saying, except you didn't, Mr. A. Don't you remember? At Pops. It's the trauma bleeding through, pulling him back to the violence, even in his subconscious hope for the future.
It's like he can't escape it, even in a dream.
He can't. And then it escalates. He sees dead relatives, Uncle Oscar, Grandpa Artie. the classic near-death imagery.
Suggesting he's moving towards the light, so to speak.
But it's constantly disrupted. By what?
The bell. Pop's bell.
The bell from the diner door, that jingle that signaled the shooter entering and leaving, it becomes this auditory trigger, this sharp, intrusive sound that shatters any peace in the dreams.
So the trauma isn't just psychological, it's almost physically represented by that sound in the subconscious.
I think that's a great way to put it. The bell is the trauma. It's the sound of the attack, the sound of the escape. It keeps pulling him back to that moment, forcing him to relive it. It's the barrier between life and death he's fighting against.
And just as things feel heavy enough, Alice Cooper arrives to inject some classic Riverdale suspicion and drama into the hospital waiting room.
Oh, Alice. Never misses an opportunity, does she? Betty mentions being with Jughead at Pop's, then the trailer.
And Alice immediately goes after Jughead, calls him a beanie-wearing cad. Standard Alice.
Pretty much. But then she hears that serpents showed up while Betty and Jughead were talking, and that's when she really goes off.
She connects the shooting to Jughead.
Instantly. Suggests he's involved, that he's following in FP's criminal footsteps. It's incredibly harsh.
The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, especially not when there's a snake curled up in its limbs. Ouch.
Yeah, it's venomous. And completely out of line, obviously, given Fred's condition. She's basically accusing Jughead of being complicit while his dad is fighting for his life next door.
It really highlights that north side-south side tension, boiling over even in a moment of crisis.
Absolutely. Jughead, rightly, is furious. He points out the obvious flaw in her logic. At least you can't accuse my father of being the shooter, considering he's in jail.
Which shuts her down, briefly.
Yeah.
But the damage is done, the suspicion is planted, and the town's divide is right there, raw and ugly, in the hospital waiting room.
And that tension naturally leads into the official investigation. Sheriff Keller starts taking statements, beginning with Archie.
Right, and Archie's description of the shooter is key here. It immediately pushes back against Keller's assumptions.
It does. Despite the trauma, Archie gives some clear details. Height, weight, maybe 5'10", 160 pounds. Clothing, dark pants, and a dark jacket.
And crucially, no serpent logo.
Exactly, he stresses. No snake insignia, which directly contradicts the immediate north side bias that it must have been a serpent.
And the mask.
The mask is homemade. A black hood with the eyes cut out. And this is the defining detail Archie remembers. Green eyes. He saw the shooter's eyes, and they were green. That's incredibly specific, especially for someone who just had a gun pointed at their head.
It narrows things down considerably, and definitely doesn't sound like a random thug.
Not at all. But Keller, his first instinct is pure stereotype.
Yeah, he goes straight to Southside lowlife,
Yeah.
out of his head on meth or the jingle jangle, just looking for a cash grab.
It's Keller's default setting for Riverdale violence. Drugs, serpents, petty theft. But the facts just don't line up.
Starting with the wallet, Archie realizes his dad's wallet is gone.
And he's devastated, not just because it's theft, but because, as he says, everything that is important to my dad is in that wallet. It feels personal to him. Like, the shooter wanted more than just cash. They wanted something specific from Fred.
Which feels significant, ominous.
Extremely. And then comes the confirmation that blows Keller's theory out of the water. Pop tape.
Ah, yes. Betty and Jughead go back to Pop's, looking for clues, maybe the wallet.
And Pop tells him straight up, how much cash did the shooter take?
Not a penny.
Not a single cent. Pop says he's been robbed plenty of times, people grabbing cash. But this guy, he ignored the register completely. His goal was...
Darker. That's the word Pop uses. It was like the angel of death had come to Riverdale.
Chilling. Right, that line confirms it. This wasn't random, wasn't a robbery gone wrong. It was targeted. It was personal. It was meant to be murder.
So, with a robbery motive dead, Archie starts grasping at straws, trying to figure out who would want his dad dead.
He brings up the construction crew, right? Fred and Hermione firing the serpents who worked for them, maybe a disgruntled employee.
Yeah, even though he knows the shooter didn't have a snake patch. He's just trying to find any reason.
It's understandable desperation, but Veronica, she cuts right through that speculation and points the finger much closer to home.
At her own mother.
Yep. She confronts Hermione directly, suspects it was a hit ordered by the lodges because Fred wouldn't sell his share of the company back to them. She figures Fred and Hiram wouldn't get along.
That's bold. Accusing your own mother while your boyfriend's dad is maybe dying because of it.
It shows where Veronica's priorities are, doesn't it, with Archie?
Yeah.
But Hermione's reaction is, well, it's pure lodge.
She denies it, obviously.
Yeah.
But then comes the warning.
Oh, yeah. A very clear threat. Mija, your disrespect will no longer be tolerated. Get back in line with this family, because you are a lodge before anything else.
Wow. So even if Hermione didn't order the hit, she's making it crystal clear that loyalty to the Lodges comes first no matter what. Family over everything, including morality or Archie.
Absolutely. It sets up a huge conflict for Veronica. She's caught between her love for Archie and the demands, the potential darkness of her own family. That warning hangs heavy in the air.
Okay, while that investigation is unfolding with all its twists and turns, we see some major power shifts happening with other characters. Jughead, for one.
Jughead makes a really definitive choice in this episode. He decides he's not going with a foster family. He's staying in FP's trailer.
Which is pretty grim, honestly.
It is.
Yeah.
And initially, he tries to downplay the whole serpent thing. Betty sees him wearing the jacket, learning to ride FP's motorcycle.
And he jokes about it. Like, oh, there were 10 bikers? I couldn't say no.
Yeah, trying to keep that detached observer persona. But Betty calls him on it. She sees the jacket fits like a second skin. She sees it means something to him.
And he finally admits it does. That wearing the jacket, riding the bike, it's about staying close to FP while he's in prison.
It's his connection to his dad. The jacket, the bike, the trailer, they're symbols of that bond, however messed up it might be. It's an emotional anchor for him.
But Betty is immediately worried, and she doesn't hold back.
No, she brings up the dark side. Joaquin, dumping bodies, mopping up buckets of blood. She's scared Jughead's gonna get pulled into that world, that violence, just by being associated with them.
She's the voice of reason, the moral compass trying to pull him back from the edge.
She is. But Jughead's already leaning over it. They say, "I love you," right after this heavy conversation.
But the script says it felt complicated and weird.
Because it is. They love each other, but he's just chosen a path embracing the serpent life that she deeply fears and disagrees with. It puts this immediate strain, this uncertainty, right into the heart of their relationship. The "I love you" feels less like a resolution and more like bracing for impact.
And speaking of seismic shifts, Cheryl Blossom.
Oh
my God.
Cheryl's arc in this episode is just jaw-dropping. She orchestrates this incredible power grab out of the literal ashes of Thornhill.
So Thornhill burns down. A terrible fire, Cheryl explains. Maybe a breeze knocking over a lit candle. Plausible deniability.
Highly convenient breeze, yeah. And then she spins this story about Penelope.
Her mother, who is badly burned and recovering in the hospital.
Cheryl claims Penelope bravely rushed headlong into the blaze, risking her life to save mine, portraying her mother as a hero.
Which is almost certainly a lie, right? Given what comes next.
Almost definitely. It's the setup for the kill shot, which comes when she visits Penelope in her hospital bed.
That monologue, it's chilling.
Utterly. She drops the act completely. She tells Penelope, essentially, that she owns her now. If you breathe, it is because I give you air.
Total domination. And she threatens her with the truth.
Two truths. The truth about the fire implying Penelope was either negligent or Cheryl herself was involved, and, even more powerfully, what really happened in the barn with Dad.
The secrets surrounding Clifford Blossom's death and crimes.
Exactly. It's absolute blackmail delivered with ice-cold precision. She flips the script entirely. Penelope, the abusive mother, is now the powerless patient, completely under Cheryl's thumb.
If you move, it is quietly and with my blessing. Just what?
It's a stunning transformation. Cheryl goes from victim to maybe the most powerful and frankly terrifying player in Riverdale in the space of one episode. She's completely untethered now.
Okay, so back to the main plotline, Fred's fate. After all the waiting, the dreams, the vigil, we finally get a resolution.
Yes, thankfully. Archie's talking to his unconscious dad, pleading with him and Fred, and he opens his eyes. He moans, the script confirms it. He's gonna make it.
Huge sigh of relief all around. The immediate crisis is over.
But the impact isn't over, especially not for Archie. The relief is immediately followed by this intense need to act, fueled by that guilt we talked about.
He makes that vow right there at Fred's bedside.
He apologizes again for freezing at Pops, and then he swears, whether or not Sheriff Keller finds the person who did this, I'm gonna protect you. Nothing like this is ever gonna happen to you again, I swear it.
That's a huge promise. He's basically declaring himself his father's protector. It feels like a turning point.
It absolutely is. It's Archie embracing this darker, more proactive, almost vigilante role. He's not waiting for the authorities. He's taking matters into his own hands.
And Fred's response. It's quiet, but it lands hard.
So poignant. Fred, weak but conscious, looks at Archie and says, son, that's why I came back. To protect you.
It's this mutual pact of protection, but layered with so much trauma and fear. It locks Archie onto this path of finding the shooter.
Definitely. That exchange guarantees Archie's obsession is going to drive a huge part of the season's narrative.
Meanwhile, Jughead's tentative steps into the serpent world. They bear fruit almost immediately.
Yeah, it shows let's call it practical application of wearing the jacket. He must have asked the serpents to find out if anyone was bragging about the shooting.
And they deliver, but not with information.
No, they deliver a beaten-up serpent. Apparently, this guy was in the White Worm running his mouth, saying Fred deserved to get shot for firing the serpent crew.
So the serpents roughed him up as a favor to Jughead.
Tallboy brings the guy to Jughead, basically says, we checked him out, he's just a loudmouth, not the shooter. But the real message is in the act itself.
What's the message?
Loyalty. They tell Jughead they did it so he could see they followed through, so he could tell FP. That's important to us. With or without the jacket, you're a serpent.
Wow. So it's like an initiation rite almost. They're showing him respect, showing him he belongs because of FP.
Exactly. It cements his place, demonstrates the kind of rough tribal loyalty that defines the serpents. It's dangerous, sure, but it's also a form of acceptance he hasn't really had elsewhere.
Okay, so Fred's awake, Archie's made his vow, Jughead's got serpent back up, Cheryl's taking control. It feels like things might settle for a second, but then that ending.
The ending completely shatters any sense of temporary peace. It yanks us out of Riverdale entirely.
To Greendale, just on the other side of Sweetwater River.
Suddenly, we're following the shooter. The Angel of Death isn't done, and his hunting ground isn't limited to Riverdale. This immediately escalates things. We're not just dealing with an attack on Fred Andrews anymore.
No, because the next victim is Mrs. Grundy.
Geraldine Grundy, back from whatever exile she went into after season 1. She's giving a piano lesson to a student, Ben.
And the Black Hood attacks her, chokes her, kills her.
It's brutal, and it confirms 2 absolutely critical things for the season ahead. 1, Pop Tate was right. This is the Angel of Death. It's a serial attacker, a murderer. The threat is way bigger than anyone thought.
And 2, the connection. Fred Andrews is Archie's dad. Mrs. Grundy was Archie's, well, his former teacher and secret lover.
Exactly. The victims are linked through Archie. This isn't random violence hitting Riverdale. This is targeted. It's personal. It seems like the killer is systematically going after people connected to Archie Andrews.
Making Archie himself the real target, in a way, by terrorizing everyone around him.
That's certainly how it feels. It's a chilling end that completely reframes the entire conflict and sets up a much, much darker season 2.
So, wrapping this up, what are the big takeaways from this premiere script? Where does A Kiss Before Dying leave us?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the tonal shift. It's immediate and undeniable. Riverdale is darker, it's more dangerous. The threat isn't some hidden town secret anymore. It's a masked killer actively hunting people.
Angel of Death.
Right. And it's personal, seemingly centered around Archie. Plus, we've got major character trajectories locked in. Jughead embracing the serpents despite the risks and Betty's fears. Cheryl seizing power through fire and blackmail. These aren't minor adjustments, they're fundamental changes.
We've definitely moved past the who killed Jason Blossom mystery into something far more menacing.
Absolutely. It's a serial killer narrative now, deeply intertwined with our main characters' lives and fears.
Okay, so that leaves us with our final thought, something for you, the listener, to chew on, based directly on what we've seen in the script. We know the Black Hood didn't take any money from Pops. It wasn't a robbery.
But he did take Fred's wallet. Archie made a point of how important that wallet was, how it contained everything vital to his dad.
And almost immediately after securing that wallet, the killer tracks down and murders Mrs. Grundy in another town, someone whose connection to Archie was secret, not exactly public knowledge.
Right.
So here's the question. Was shooting Fred Andrews primarily about silencing him, or was it maybe instrumental? Was the main goal actually getting that wallet? Could the wallet have contained the information addresses, contacts, maybe old letters? Who knows that the killer needed to find Grundy and perhaps to find future victims connected to Archie? Was Fred's shooting the key to unlocking a whole campaign of terror against Archie and everyone he cares about?